Śrī Rādhāṣṭamī, the day of her advent, by Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura Prabhupāda. There is one person whose name is never mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, and yet Bhagavatam's steadfast readers constantly nurture the ardent hope of becoming that person's devout, one-pointed servant. May that person, who means everything to Sri Bhagavan, kindly destroy our false ego in all its various forms and bestow upon us the shelter of her lotus feet. Today is the day of her advent. That personification of grand benevolence, having collected all varieties of graces from Sri Bhagavan to bestow as gifts upon all beings, is eternally the foremost of the benevolent. May she descend within our hearts and make her appearance there, and may her advent be the concern of our worship. His all in all. It is common for us to hear that the entire earth is sustained by the entity known as Govinda. Many people speak in these terms. Yet, there is one who Govinda himself esteems as his all in all, his Sarasvata. And without the guidance of that entity, we cannot realize what it actually means that she is his everything, his sarva. The word swa means one's own, but it can also mean one's treasure or one's affluence. One who is Govinda's own, or one who is the affluence of Govinda, is Govinda's entire fortune. The treasure that makes Govinda wealthy is naturally the very essence of his all in all, his sarvasva vastu. We can only know the true meaning of loving worship when we make her, Govinda's sarvasva vastu, the object of our own loving worship. The devotee's only cherishable hope. All the scriptures loudly sing that the form of divinity, the personality of Godhead, is the actual object of worship. Other than him, no one can be worthy of the word aradhya, the object of loving adoration. Due to being covered by ignorance for the time being, we have given up our loving quest to find him and have cheated ourselves out of attaining love for him. The very moments that we became covered by ignorance, anarthas emerged, which led us to mistakenly perceive him, the Supreme Lord, as some other entity. Our ultimate goal is to attain artha, meaningfulness, the antithesis of which lays in anarthas. If we do not take up a service attitude and pursue those goals or perfections available to us, which are most meaningful to us and dear to our hearts, and if we do not gain an understanding of the principles of service, then, swayed by our own arrogance and ego, we shall end up serving something other than he who is truly meant to be served. The attainment of pure love of God, prem, is the sole purpose of all worship. Thoroughly grasping this truth, we shall live by the ardent hope that one day we will be counted among her entourage. Otherwise, it is preferable to die thousands of times. Asha bharar amrita sindhu mayai katanchit Kalo mayati gamitha kila sampratanghi Twang chet kripang mai vidhasya sinaiva keme Pranar vrajena chavaro rupakarinapi. Vilap Kusmanjali 102. O Devi with graceful thighs, now, burdened by hopes of serving you, a hope which is itself an ocean of immortal nectar, I am somehow passing my time with great difficulty as I wait anxiously. If you will not give me your mercy, then what use to me is my own life's breath? What use to me is being in Vraj? What use to me even is Sri Krishna, who defeated the hideous crane demon, Bakasura? Hanata Gokula Sudhakara Suprasanna Vaktraravinda Madhura Smita He Kripardra Yatra Tvaya Viharate Pranayai Priyarat Tatraiva Mama Pinaya Priya Sevanaya. Vilap Kusmanjali 100. Hey Nath, fulfiller of your devotees' cherished desires. Hey Gokul Sudhakar, moon of Gokul, who distributes cooling nectars to all the Vrajvasis. Hey Suprasanna, hey Vaktraravinda, your face, like a blooming lotus flower, is always cheerful as you grant all of your devotees' most cherished wishes. Hey Madhurasmita, you whose smile is so sweet and gentle. Hey Kriprardra, whose heart is melting from compassion. Please take me to that place where you and your beloved Srimati Radhika taste pastimes of overwhelming love for each other, and let me intimately serve the two of you there. That hope, the devotee's only cherishable hope, is an ocean of life-giving ambrosia. When will that hope bear fruit? I feel it is essential to sustain my life because of the hope that someday I will be counted among her entourage. But alas, since our eagerness is not increasing, we are not fully realizing our hopes. We are not obtaining that which we have ardently been hoping for. If our hopes are not fulfilled this very day, if Sri Govinda's beloved, his all in all, does not descend within our hearts and make her appearance there this very day, then we have been deceived, and we shall not be able to find anyone more unfortunate than ourselves throughout all history. If we are cheated out of serving that person whose grace will grant us all that we may ever achieve, including our place within Bhagavan's holy abode and our connection to all things related to him. And if we cannot comprehend her true identity or discover her presence in the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of the Bhagavat has been worthless. The perfection of loving worship exists solely in her. Being intimately knowledgeable about her identity, Sri Gaurasundar spoke to us about Unat Dojwala Ras. He enumerated the many methods of serving Bhagavan and instructed us in the process of serving him purely, without the adulteration of any extraneous moods. It is only because he spoke to us about such matters that we can comprehend the existence of such a thing as Ujjvala Ras, and on account of this, we can indirectly comprehend the unpleasantness of its antithesis, the bleak, mundane ras with its utterly lackluster sentiments. In how many ways has Sri Bhagavan personally offered us intimate knowledge of himself just to make us relish transcendental service to him? Yet it is essential that we wholly understand that person who has rendered such immense service to Sri Bhagavan that he has made her the object of his own service. Those who adoringly sing about her can bestow upon us the qualification to serve her. They alone can awaken anurag, inexhaustible ardent affection for her lotus feet in the core of our being. The intelligence and strength to serve her is attained by keeping company with her dear confidants who are in her anugatya, her guardianship or tutelage. By such company, we can realize that service to her is the highest purpose in existence. As soon as we can come to understand, in light of the teachings of the Mahajans, that she is Sri Bhagavan's everything, we shall proceed to serve her, knowing that the perfection and prosperity of loving worship exists solely in her. If we engage in serving her from this day forth, the day of her advent, then we shall become qualified to reach the summit of auspiciousness. Surely, all of us do not pray for that ultimate auspiciousness. But if by some unknown sukriti, some blessed activity, we get the association of one of the confidants of Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini, she who is the embodiment and origin of supreme auspiciousness, and if we are truly granted the fortune of hearing genuinely sublime narrations about her, then we too may develop the inspiration to follow the path of that ultimate auspiciousness. But if we engage in self-deception by depriving ourselves of service to that person who means everything to Akhila Rasamrita Murti, Sri Nandanandan, and service to her faithful followers who are her dear confidants, we can never attain the eligibility to serve Śrī Govinda. The secret. To understand her identity, we believe that it is essential to first know her name. Yet, while studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we find no apparent mention of her name anywhere. We only discover descriptions of her form and beauty, praise of her qualities, and accounts of the speciality of her companions and her pastimes. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we find everything about the dearest beloved of Govinda but her name, as though it has not been mentioned there at all. Yet, in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, we discover something. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tarangang cha grihana gauditam maya. Sri Bhagavan said, O Brahma, knowledge of me, Gyan, is the subject matter established in the revealed scriptures. Such knowledge is verily founded upon realization, Vigyan, of my Swarup, intrinsic form, and also upon that esoteric secret, Rahasya, Prem Bhakti. Both are highly confidential. I am revealing all of this to you, and I am also revealing to you knowledge of Sadhan Bhakti, which is the preliminary branch, Anga, of Prem Bhakti. Embrace all of this knowledge and assimilate it with care. Kalena nashta pralaye vaniyang veda samgita mayado brahmane prokta dharmo yasyang mad atmaka tena prokta swaputraya manave purvajaya sa tato brigvadayo grihnan sapta brahma maharshaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14, 3-4. Sri Bhagavan said, The divine message of the Vedas, which describe dharma related to me, disappeared after the cosmic annihilation due to the passage of time. At the beginning of the next creation, I personally imparted that knowledge to Brahma. In turn, Sri Brahma instructed this Vedic knowledge to his firstborn son, Manu, and thereafter the 7 Brahma Rishis headed by Bhrigu Muni accepted the same. Sri Bhagavan explained all these matters to the first created being, Brahma, but over time, the people of this world forgot his message, because the collective currents of their thought were naturally subjected to the effects of degeneration, dissolution, and so forth. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tarangang cha grihana gauditam maya. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9-30. Now, as I speak to you, hear my words and assimilate them. Knowledge of me is highly confidential. It is knowledge fully grounded in realization, knowledge that is interwoven with secrets, and therefore is itself an extremely intimate secret. The scriptural definition of the word rahasya is rahasi stitaha, that which is situated in secrecy. Neither these secrets, rahasya, nor anything branching from them, anga, can be grasped through observation of some supposed objective reality. Footnote: Rahasya here refers to prem bhakti, pure loving devotion, and its anga, or limb, is sadhan bhakti, the practices employed to ultimately attain pure loving devotion. Swept away by the currents of thought that dominate the external world, we have forgotten the essentiality of taking shelter at the feet of one who has true knowledge of the soul. Nothing else is so essential. Sri Bhagavan remains in a state of perpetual readiness to reawaken this knowledge. Sri Bhagavan said to Brahma, "Now as I speak to you, carefully listen to my words and accept them in your heart. No one is qualified to hear or embrace this message without my grace. Only by my mercy shall those who hear and learn about me gain this secret knowledge. What am I? What is my form, Rup? What is my intrinsic nature, Swarup? What are my qualities, Guna? What are the specialities of my associates? What pastimes do I perform, Lila? The stage of absorption in my transcendental pastimes, which are saturated with ras, far surpasses the stage of absorption in ordinary mundane sentiments. There is no other way to know all this but through the potency of my mercy. I am the foundation of all divine qualities. I am not speaking about qualities that are adulterated by passion and ignorance, but rather of those qualities that are the existential causal basis of creating, sustaining, and destroying the cosmos. Since I am distinguished by these qualities, and since I am the instrumental cause of all effects, I am the original, fundamental entity. This can be known only by attaining my grace. Therefore, Sri Bhagavan has used the word Mad Anugraha, my grace or favor. Information about Sri Bhagavan's Anga aspect, namely Sadhan Bhakti, information about his Rahasya aspect, namely that most esoteric secret Prem Bhakti, information about his Vigyan aspect, particularly that realized knowledge which is saturated with sublime consciousness, and information of his personal splendor, Tad Rupa Vaibhav, which includes his abode, eternal associates, and expansions, are all supremely confidential, non-dual knowledge, Advai Gyan. That eternal, highly confidential knowledge can only be attained by the mercy of Sri Bhagavan. It is never revealed otherwise, for any reason. This secret knowledge is disclosed at the beginning of the 4 core verses, Chatushloki, of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are fortunate that Sri Gaurasundar has revealed this mystery to the world, as though unlocking a treasure chest. The secret should not be revealed to impersonalists. A secret, Rahasya, has been mentioned, an account of it given. But the name of the person about whom this secret is concerned has not been disclosed. Since that name is a secret, it should not be disclosed to those subscribing to the schools of ignorant thought, and has not, therefore, been openly revealed. After hearing the pastimes of Sri Nandanandan told in Srimad Bhagavatam, these ignorant people, what to speak of gaining any faith, discard all accounts of the Lord's pastimes and just contemplate the impersonal feature of the Absolute, which is in line with their mundane conception. And some of them deem it sensible to merge their very selves with that impersonal reality. Without hearing from a genuine, bona fide source, people's perception of reality suffers from this form of distorted vision. Due to their immense aversion towards serving the Lord, they can never comprehend the intrinsic nature of Bhagavad Bhakti. But in our own hearts, which are radiant with pure existential goodness, sattva. The day of Rasamai Parameshwari's advent has arrived in the course of the sun's orbit. The roaming sun is today revealing the appearance of that supreme goddess. Hence, for us, the sun god too is showing us supreme favor by unveiling the arrival of the secret at hand. Our duty now is to submit ourselves to someone who has knowledge of that secret. A poet by the name Manohar Das has said, Radha pada pankaja bhakata ki asha dasa manohara koroto piyasa. The Bhakta's ardent wish is that they may someday serve Śrī Radha's lotus feet. This is also Das Manohar's only aspiration. End of part 1. Find part 2 of this article on vineofdevotion.com.